In today's video, we have contradicting Moscow police decision making, interesting conversations and comments caught on police body cams, and what are the possible driving factors behind these interlocutory documents. And if an open conversation is something you prefer, then this is the place for you. Welcome to The Point, so let's talk about it.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The night of the attacks, the footage in the battlefield has widely been circulated throughout the internet. And in that video, we see him stop an individual who is of age, and while they're running this individual's information, they are explaining to him that they are currently doing alcohol enforcement. And then recall those other three individuals who happen to be underage and consuming alcohol. While that officer is asking them if they have received the brief from campus police about the school's policies and procedures, he goes on to tell them that there is a right way to do a wrong thing. And what he is saying right there is we can't have people openly and blatantly breaking the law in that community. So if this is something they're going to do, they need to be smarter about it. And it seems at that particular moment, consumption enforcement is a high priority for both the campus police and the city police. But let's circle back to this other footage and you tell me if you see what I see. As you can see, Moscow police are walking up to 1122 King Road. Individuals are walking beside them. They don't stop and detain them. They don't ask them if they're of age. They just let them go on about their day. But listen to this conversation right here.
They've had several kids get super hammered and fall off balconies over the years and stuff, so they take it pretty serious.
So we have long been told that the town is safe, that they rarely have any incidents of passings. But this officer is plainly saying that they have had issues with students consuming too much, falling off of balconies and passing. So is this campus really safe, and are there statistics about passings and violence actually true? And I'm just raising the question, does it not seem like any situation pertaining to the students of the university, the city police are more inclined to kick that back to the university police? But there's more to this footage as you go a little deeper. Now, Sigma Chi is a fraternity that has constantly popped up on videos as having individuals who were possibly suspects, especially early on in the case. But from the time Brian Kohlberger's name was announced, anybody who was mentioning any individual in that university was called a conspiracy theorist. Well, listen to this right here.
I live across the street.
Well, they told me they just live across the street, so that means they're Sigma Chi.
Yep, they're Sigma Chi. He pointed right at it.
Yes, he did. That was my
You're not intelligent, young man.
This guy plainly says that he is from Sigma Chi. And when you listen to the conversation in the background, does that officer not say Sigma Chi is the only one here?
Real fast. Yeah. Real fast. Sigma Chi is the only one that I hear.
And I'll play it for you again, and you let me know what you hear.
Real fast. Yeah. Real fast. Sigma Chi is the only one that I hear.
But what's contradictory here? On the night of the attacks, anybody and everybody who is caught has been detained, got citations, or had their information ran. But on this particular night, you clearly have a party. And not only do you have a party here, you have a party where none of the occupants are there. So if we have comments that the university is looking to crack down on these types of situations because they've had problems with students passing in the past, would this not be a prime example of a scenario where you would need to crack down? You already have the noise complaint. They already allude to underage drinking. And they are also alluding to possible trespassing because none of those individuals who pay rent, who live in that home, are at that facility. So at this particular point, which is it? So are they trying to crack down like they did at the Banfield, or are they not? Because if there is a problem with students going too far, this seems like a prime opportunity to crack down on those same problems. And listen to this clip right here.
Yep. And this is kind of a fishbowl in here, so if they get party, it echoes crazy.
It's been brought up before, but it's worth mentioning again. That area was a fishbowl. So everything that goes on within that fishbowl-like area gets heard throughout pretty easily. But on the night of the attack, we're told nobody heard anything. Nobody was aware of anything. So is that area a fishbowl or not? Are they trying to crack down on the number of incidents where students pass accidentally, or are they not? Because we have two separate scenarios here. One is a group of individuals who have clearly been consuming and stopped and cited. The other is a group of individuals who are also clearly consuming, but they're consuming in a home where none of the individuals are there. But the individuals who are just walking across the Banfield get targeted, get stopped, get citations, and get warnings, and they have their night hindered to a degree over safety concerns. But also go back to that footage where Kaylee came out and there was this big conversation about why were there zip ties on everybody's hands. Listen to what this officer says.
No stairs to the back deck. Interesting.
Now this may be something or it may be nothing, but why would he point out there are no stairs to a balcony? Now I might be wrong here, but it is clear to everybody that that is a private balcony to that floor. That is not the main entrance in or out of the home. In fact, they're standing on a back patio, and they go to knock on the door at the back patio. So why would there be stairs going to people's private sleeping quarters? Why is that something worth mentioning? It just struck me as kind of an odd observation to make in that particular scenario when it is blatantly obvious that that balcony is not supposed to have stairs on it whatsoever. Individuals are supposed to come in through the sliding doors on the second floor or the front door on the first. We know the home is oddly laid out. We know the home has had multiple additions throughout the years. And I'm not trying to say that that officer had any type of nefarious intent behind his words. But why make that comment altogether? It just struck me as something odd for an individual to say. And it was almost like he's never seen a balcony before. And I've personally never seen balconies that had stairs built onto the side of them. Now these interlocutory documents that are circulating around the internet, I'm going to go on and make my prediction now. Everybody who is absolutely certain Brian Kohlberger committed this act is going to make a video or do commentary stating this is solely being done to delay the trial, or it's being done to allow Brian Kohlberger's defense to get more money, that this is a stall tactic, and anything and everything that is encompassing any type of phrasing like that. But when you look at it, this is at the end of the day nothing more than the defense trying to get a ruling that doesn't have a final judgment on it. And what are they trying to get this final judgment on? Well, they make reference to this indictment and them trying to get this indictment dismissed and them trying to get this moved to a preliminary hearing. And they wanted the preliminary hearing because they said they had exculpatory evidence. We already know they fought against a grand jury indictment based off the accusations of improper instruction and them wanting a higher level than probable cause. Now that may go up to a higher court to be heard, but at that particular level, we've already said that that wasn't necessarily a really good argument to make. But let's circle back to this exculpatory evidence a little bit. Now it has been rumored that that exculpatory evidence is strictly tied to Bethany Funk. In fact, we talked about that in our last video. But what is another thing that they're fighting against? Well, they're fighting against that DNA evidence. They're fighting against that IgG data. And where has this stuff originated from? Well, Othram Laboratories. Now it has come up on this video that Othram is not accredited by the ANSI, National Accreditation Board. And that is true. Or at least I do believe that to be true. I've done the search and I can't find any accreditation on this particular lab whatsoever. And it is worth mentioning that that accreditation is FBI approved, and that is the largest accrediting organization in the Western Hemisphere. Now, I can't personally speak on the quality work that particular lab is doing. Yes, they are not accredited, but they are ISO 17025 certified. Now, what is interesting about this particular certification is it allows labs to carry out procedures in their own ways, but they are required to justify the particular method they are using. Now, what if this latest document is tied to that? What if they are trying to say that the method used by this particular lab was not correct, and they have found justification for that? And will this particular motion delay the trial and cause it to not be in the summer of 2024? We will have to absolutely wait on that. But for individuals to make a video and say that this is just another stall tactic is absolutely not correct. And even if this motion doesn't go forward and nothing happens with it, the defense still has all this that they can use at trial. Just because they didn't necessarily get Bethany Funk's statement in a preliminary hearing doesn't mean that this won't come up at trial if and when that happens. And it is fair to say that even though Othram is not an accredited lab, they are certified to perform certain procedures. And we can also assume because they have a contract with the Idaho State Police that they are allowed to perform these particular genetic procedures. But we shouldn't dismiss this newest motion as frivolous. The defense has clearly made multiple statements tied to some type of statement or comment of Bethany Funk and what has gone on with this genetic genealogy testing. We shouldn't automatically disregard what they're trying to say just because we want to have a preconceived notion of things. The fact remains 4 individuals have lost their life. And for people to get on here and discredit everything the defense is doing, you're doing nothing more but a disservice to those 4 victims. Our only way forward is through justice, and to look at as many possible things as possible, and to look at as many possible scenarios as we can, and analyze it to the best of our ability. But I did think some of these statements made by these officers, while no one was around, is pretty interesting. And I do wonder if they are to a degree picking and choosing when they're going to enforce a law or not. If you see any of this differently, you can let me know down in the comments below. But other than that, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. Y'all stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one.